Hello, everybody. Raul Luna here. Happy Sunday from wherever you are. I trust that you're, happy, healthy, and wealthy, staying obviously in your own places. So, welcome here. I got something that I want to cover with you here today, all right? So, make sure that you go ahead and share it with others. Leave me your comments down below because what I'm going to share with you is the 10 things that we took for granted. Now that we're in this quarantine time, that we're obviously in this pandemic situation, guess what? There's things that I want to share with you that we have literally taken for granted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the list that I made. And then if you notice that there's others that you believe that you would want to add, go ahead and add it, all right? Because obviously there's others that you feel that obviously that or you feel that you should put in there. So number one, going out to dinner. I don't know about you, but it's one of the things that now that we don't have the restaurants open for dining, I mean, you can definitely order your food and get it delivered to your home or go and pick it up or things like that. But it's interesting because now everything has to happen in the house, right? Most of everything has to basically be done either in the house or in the car. And it's interesting because the other day I went to this restaurant that we usually go to, and we could only order for takeout. So guess what? Take it for granted. Now that we see the contrast, obviously, we get to we get to be reminded of the things that we're not valuing it. We were not valuing as much. Right. Number two, saving. Today we have clarity. We're clear that we should have saved, right? Well, some people did, and congratulations for the one that did, but some others and most of people did not. So guess what? We took it for granted. So, hey, these are the times that we want to make sure not only having a saving for investing, but savings to basically weather whatever we need to weather out, right? Number three, hugs and handshakes. Hugs and handshakes. It's interesting because if you go out and you want to hug someone today, you get looked weird to the face. You get literally looked weird to the face. And it's really interesting to see, how I actually experienced it for firsthand. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday, we went to take a look at a office building that we're looking to lease. And interesting enough, I actually, took out my hand to shake, the lady's hand. And it was interesting that she was looking at me like, okay, I don't even know if I can shake your hand, right? So it's in a way, it's almost like a shocking moment because you realize that there's things that you don't do as freely as you used to do them before. Okay. So number four, events, live events. Guess what's happening right now? We're all at home. We're all have to stay here. And guess what? We got to do it all through either social media, Zoom, or things like that, which I don't mind. I like them both ways, but I can tell you that I also miss having the physical events. Okay. Number five, traveling. Traveling to different places and, exploring the world and getting to meet other people. Interesting that we've taken it for granted. At least, now we are realizing it, but, things that we need to learn, obviously, and to be aware of. Mainly today is, the 10 things that we took for granted to become aware and obviously be grateful, that once this quarantine gets basically done, once we're able to go back, I wouldn't call it to the normal life because there's nothing normal about it anymore. Forever it has changed, and change is the only constant thing. So number five, we said it was travel. Number six, hygiene. It takes a pandemic, obviously, to learn that we need to stay in high level hygiene. Guess what? Prior, we took it for granted. Interesting enough, right? So number seven, work. We always think that work is going to be there forever, and it is. But for some industries, work has completely stalled. And for others, work has actually accelerated. But it's one of those things of not knowing how to do just one thing, making sure that you know how to do several things. So don't take it for granted, ladies and gentlemen. Number eight, family gatherings. It's interesting to hear a lot of people saying, well, I can't go visit my parents, or, because I don't, I don't want to expose my parents into this situation, things like that. Now it's interesting to even think if we can go out and visit our parents. Once again, took it for granted. Number 9, sports. Everything is shut down on the sports. And guess what? Maybe before we didn't value it as much, than what we should have. All right. And number 10, freedom, ladies and gentlemen, freedom of almost everything. You know what I feel? I feel like, everything that is happening around the world is because somehow, some way, in some shape or form, the ultra powers wants to take our freedom away. Now, that's my own personal opinion. You don't have to share it, but go ahead and leave me down below other things that we took for granted that is now becoming very aware and apparent because we're in this lockdown. So go ahead and share it down below. Let's get to basically learn from each other. And guess what? Eventually the pandemic, the lockdown, it's going to go away. But the next phase of this crisis slash recession, we're going to have to face. And I'm more than welcome to go into the next wave, whatever that next wave is. But one of the things that I can tell you that I'm grateful, I am very grateful for the things that we get to enjoy, such as, for instance, I'll give you an example. We get to enjoy, before we get to, and today we get to do it maybe on many different other channels, but for, $5, $10, or maybe even $15, we get to enjoy a movie that someone else had to pay millions of dollars to produce. For instance, on doing things like a hotel. Somebody built this massive hotel and you get to enjoy it for maybe a couple $100 a night or things like that. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because there's a lot of things that we don't pay absolute attention, in that we are not aware of what we have and the things that we should be very grateful about. In that, for instance, being able to have health, oftentimes we take that for granted. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things that probably should be here on the list. So go ahead and leave down below in the comments items that you have seen that has been taken for granted that we should value even more, right? Today, from hugs to handshakes, from health to hygiene, from traveling to everything that I just mentioned, saving and, family gatherings, sports and freedom and work, are the things that we should be aware. I'm grateful that we have work, that we've been working, grateful that, we get to have our team members be able to have a job and things like that. But I realize that not everybody's in the same boat. So anyways, congratulations for being here with me today, right? Leave me a message down below. Go ahead and share it with others. Happy Sunday from wherever you are. Make it the greatest. Make it the best. Make sure that you are actually learning either a new skill or a new way to do things, reinventing yourself. I wanted it to appear here with you today as usual every Sunday at around about the same time, so that we can have this moment in time together, all right? So always remember that you're one freaking real estate deal away from changing your financial landscape. Get to see you next week. Have a phenomenal one. And from wherever you are, I'm going to send you a virtual hug, all right? Thank you. Have a great one.